Today's episode is brought to you by Coal Creek Equine, makers of the best equine spa in the industry. If you want your horses to be world champions, you better put them in a Coal Creek. Okay, we've got on the Uncut and Real Raw podcast, we've got Kenda Lenseigne. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I didn't butcher it. First time out, I got it right. Well, Kenda, welcome to the podcast, mate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, good deal. Well, listen, Kenda, you flew in all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. Is that right?
I did.
Well, thank you for coming all this way.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
So, Kenda, I don't know a lot about you except that you're very successful at what you do, and you're in the mounted shooting industry, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Is that the best way to say what mounting shooting is? Is it a fraternity? Is it a world show? How would you describe what mounting shooting is?
It's basically a timed event, shooting guns off horseback.
Yep.
And fastest boy or girl wins at the end.
So no judging. It's all time,
It's
like
all
a barrel
timed.
racing.
It's
Okay.
a timed event, which is really appealing to a lot of people because it's how you perform, and the targets are there or they're not at the end, and that's how you
Okay, so
determine it.
let me ask you. First question is: if it's a timed event, what happens if you miss a balloon? If you're a bad shot, it doesn't hurt you?
It does. It's 5 seconds.
Oh, it
added to
is.
your
Okay,
score.
so that adds to your time. Every
Yes.
balloon that you miss adds 5 seconds.
And a barrel. If you hit a barrel, it's 5 seconds. If you run off course, it's 10. There's a lot of penalties kind of sprinkled in there that you can acquire throughout the stage.
Okay. Now, I'm going to fucking butcher this, but fuck it, I'll say it. I don't know if you'd call it like a barrel racing pattern, is every pattern the same? Is it a set route or set course you guys are on, or you have different patterns like NRHA, Cow Horse have different patterns? Do you guys have different courses? Is that what you call it?
We do. There are, I think, upwards of 80 different courses in our course book that they'll select for a weekend. They'll select either 3 to 5 for an event, and nobody knows what we're running until the morning of. So it's kind of just go do it.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, let's go back to the beginning. First of all, where were you born, hon?
I'm from Seattle area, Washington State.
Okay, very good. You grew up with horses, horse area, not horse area?
I did. My mom, she's horse crazy. She made 3 horse crazy girls.
Yeah.
And so my sisters and I, we did 4-H and FFA and gymkhanas and just wild animals on horseback growing up. So, I'm not from a ranching family, but definitely had that horse.
Your mother inspired the horses
Absolutely.
in you and encouraged it.
She nurtured it, and she hauled us to the shows and did her part to keep myself going. My sisters didn't really take to it like I did professionally, but we all still have that in our hearts.
That's awesome. It's great when parents encourage kids to get into the horse industry, and it's also equally as good. I've seen a lot of parents that their kids were not into horses as kids, but because they didn't push it and they didn't jam it down their throat, their kids got into horses in their teens or early 20s. I've seen that happen a bunch too.
I have too, and I think back about all the kids that I went to school with that were just dying to be around horses, and here I was, had all these opportunities and horses in my backyard, and I think had I not grown up with that, I would have been missing out so much because it is in my blood.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, had a typical childhood going through, high school, etc. Everything was pretty typical there. Horses after school.
Yep, from as soon as I got home from school until dark, basically.
And your mother mainly encouraged you guys to do the sporting events, the gymkhanas, the timed events. Was that mainly her passion too? Or why, I suppose what I'm trying to ask is, why didn't you guys get into reining or cutting or cow horse or show jumping? What was that niche there, the timed events?
I think part of it was lack of opportunity, small town, and she was into the gymkhana scene at that time.
Yes.
And then I decided, maybe in high school, that I wanted to ride hunter pleasure.
Okay.
So my mom acquired this 3-legged horse off the racetrack and basically said, "Here you go. You want to do this? He's all yours. You have to train him."
Yeah.
And so I rode the tar out of that thing and did the English and Western pleasure.
And did you enjoy that?
I mean, it was good for the time,
Yes.
and it was really, it was good to have that experience as far as riding goes, but I just love the timed aspect of it.
Yep.
And yeah, like as you asked with cow horse or reining, it just wasn't really part of our opportunity in that area.
Yeah, you got to have an opportunity or be around it at least, you
Sure.
know. So do you remember the first time you were introduced to mounted shooting? Do you remember the first time you either saw it or heard about it or got that click?
I do. I was actually, after high school, I left to go to Texas to apprentice at a cutting horse ranch.
Okay, so you knew after high school you didn't want to go to college. Did you want to be a horse trainer? Did you know what you wanted to do at that point?
Well, no. Basically, my mom said, we'll put you to college, but you got to figure out what you want to do. And so I didn't know, 17, 18 years old. So I thought, well, I'll just go see what this horse business is all about. And
that's pretty cool. So but I want to make sure I get this straight. Your mother encouraged you to go to college, but she wanted you to go figure out first what you wanted to do or what you were interested in before you went, correct?
yes, Mom and Dad. I mean, they just didn't want.
That's pretty smart. That's really fucking smart.
I think
like
it is.
Most kids, I was lucky. I knew from like 13 years old what I wanted to do. Once I got exposed to this way of training horses and horsemanship, I knew I wanted, well, initially I wanted to be a horse trainer. I never had any plans to be a clinician, but I knew from 13 years old I wanted to be a horse trainer. That I was lucky because there's a lot of kids out there 15, 16, 17, 18 have no fucking idea what they want to do, and society and parents force them to go to college and they're just wandering around. You know, giving yourself a year off to go figure some shit out was a wise decision on their part.
I think so too, and especially if you look at it from a monetary standpoint, they dump all this money into a kid that really, like, how many people truly use their degrees now?
None.
No.
Because the reason I said none straight away is when I first got to America, I was very intrigued by this whole university thing. Like, we have universities in Australia, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't cultural when I went to school to go to university. Most people got out of high school and you just went and got a job. You know,
Sure.
you could get a career, you could be an apprentice, you could be an apprentice butcher, welder, accountant, whatever, but you didn't need a college degree to do that. So when I got to America, I could see that the whole focus was about college. So I started asking all kinds of people I knew, random strangers in the airport, hey, what'd you go to college for? And they tell me. And what they do now is not even remotely, I would say 95% of people where they went to college for is not even fucking remotely what they do now for a living, or even in that same industry. So to me, from the outside looking in, I think it's a crock of shit. I think it's a waste of fucking money. Now, of course, there's some industries, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be an engineer. There are some professions that absolutely require it, but I say the vast majority of university is absolute bullshit and waste. Me, as an employer, I've hired a lot of people the last 25, 30 years. I've never once given a shit where they went to university. Never once looked at the resume. I give a shit what their skill set is. Do you show up to work on time? Are you responsible? Are you a team player? Can you get the work done? Couldn't give a shit what university they went to. So I think universities are highly overrated as a general rule. You agree, disagree?
I agree, absolutely. I mean, having lived that experience and now having the success that I have in what I'm doing now, I didn't need a business degree to run my business.
Yes.
Yes, I probably could benefit from some things like math and accounting.
Yeah.
But then you pay somebody to do that. So.
That's exactly right. I figured that out long ago. In America, you don't have to be the smartest person in America. You just have to hire the smartest person.
Exactly.
I figured that out early. I didn't have to be the best in everything I wanted to do. I just had to find the best person, negotiate a price, and hire them. Right. Yes, I love that.
Right.
So you got out of high school and you were kind of intrigued about being a horse trainer. Like, you wanted this bug to continue, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that that's a field that I wanted to pursue. However, you know, I was always told that there's no way to make money. It's a hard business to be in. Of course it is. You know.
And that's kind of true at the time, wasn't it? Very true. There's, you know, how many, I bet you know half a dozen horse trainers that were old, broke, and died in a single wide trailer. You know what I mean? That never put any retirement away, never took care of their bodies. They're old and crippled. So in a lot of ways, that was very true. Is like, do you want to end up like that? You know?
Absolutely. But you know, it's in, like I said, it's in my blood.
It's a drug, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no way to get it out of your blood. There's no way to get rid of that drug.
You've either got it or you don't, isn't it?
Yeah.
And isn't it funny, like Melanie Smith from Solo Select sat in that same chair, and she said as a kid, she can remember driving down the road, looking out the window and seeing horses and just being obsessed about them. She didn't come from a horse background, never got exposed to horses, never had that introductory, like a family like you had, never had that introduction to horses. but it was in her blood from, time she looked out of a window when she was 8 years old. So it's funny how you don't know who the horse bug's going to bite and who it's not, isn't it?
Yeah, and I feel like you're either born with it or you're not.
I agree.
There's something deep down that when you see a horse, you just gravitate toward it.
I would agree with that 100%. When it comes to marketing one-of-a-kind ranches and elite real estate, experience matters. Icon Global specializes in tactical marketing and sales campaigns for some of the most unique, high-end ranches and real estate assets in the world. These aren't ordinary properties, and they don't get ordinary marketing. Icon Global is founded by Bernie Utridge, a fellow Aussie who knows how to make a deal and is an experienced international real estate advisor. He values the Western way of life and understands how to position rare assets on the global stage. If you're looking for a world-class representation for a truly exceptional property, Icon Global sets the standard. Visit iconglobal.com to learn more.
It's not easy making change. It's not easy raising champions. It's not easy breeding excellence. But the equine industry demands nothing less than the finest. That's when true greatness is born. At Valley Equine, we nurture that greatness every day. We cultivate the next generation of champions, the future icons of the arena. There's a lot of dedication involved, and we've been committed for more than a decade. Through trials and triumphs, we've been there, steadfast in our mission. Today, we are the leader in equine breeding, with specialized expertise in producing tomorrow's champions. We drive the evolution of equine excellence through innovation, empowering breeders to shape the future of the industry. We firmly believe that the world of equine breeding is constantly changing, and that we can too. Advance with us. We are Valley Equine, many years in the making and committed to excellence.
Visit valleyequinerepro.com to learn more.
This episode is brought to you in part by Real Cow, bringing the most realistic mechanical cow experience to your training program. So you left Washington and you got your first job in Texas, you said?
I did.
Okay, as a cutting horse assistant trainer or what?
Loping horses.
Loping horses?
Yep.
Why did you go to a cutter's place? Why not a reiner or a cow horse or jumper? Why cutting? Any just ties there? Any connections or?
Yes. Speaking of opportunity,
Yep.
so a friend, my mom's high school friend from back in the day, her daughter moved to Texas and became a trainer. And when I graduated high school, I begged my mom. I'm still hiding behind my mom, right?
Yeah.
Like, can you call and see if she has a job? Can you? And she, all the trainers are looking for help during the futurities,
Yes.
and so she got me a job, and I literally packed up my 2 suitcases and got a ride down to Texas. And I remember.
So did you have a car? You have a license or anything like that?
I had a car and a license, but I didn't take it.
Yeah.
I got a ride down there, and I hadn't really been away from home much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other than trips and vacations.
Yeah.
But as far as living away from home, no way. So I arrived, and I remember she called, and she said, so-and-so is going to meet you at whatever intersection. And the driver dropped me off. I don't even remember who gave me a ride.
Did a stranger drive you there?
Remember. It's a long
Great mother. She just fucking hitchhiked your ass. You must have been an awesome kid. She hitchhiked your ass down to Texas with a fucking stranger.
2 suitcases.
And 2 suitcases.
Yeah, that part-
It says, meet this other pedo at the cross section here. But keep going.
I don't even remember that part of it, but I do remember standing there with my 2 bags, and it was dark, and I remember looking up at the sky and thinking, what have I done? I'm literally just a kid, and here I am. I have no idea what to expect. And so they picked me up. I think it was one of the ranch hands or something picked me up, and he was like, there's your room with all the other lopers, you know, and the trailer.
Was it a trailer house?
The single wide trailer, yeah. Exactly. And like, you ready to work? And I said, yeah, not knowing, what to expect, but I was raised to just do what you're told, and that's what I did.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So that first job, your mainly job was to saddle, unsaddle, lope, that type of stuff. What'd you learn from that job? What'd you get out of it from a horse perspective? Because this is the first real exposure you probably got to something different to what you grew up with. Yeah. You know what I mean? And your mother's been the biggest inspiration to you up to this point. How long were you at that job, first of all?
I was there randomly between that with that trainer and a couple of others.
Okay.
For a couple
Do you
years.
remember that period of your life? What were some of the main horsemanship lessons you learnt during that time, or
Oh, yeah.
horse lessons? What, if you could name 2 or 3 of them, what would they be?
I think the most important one, and I still use it today, is wear them out. Ride them hard, get them worn out mentally, not physically, but the loper job is true. I mean, and the problem is that the more you ride them down, the more fit they become, and then you can't get that.
Yes, it's a hamster on a wheel, isn't it?
It
You
is.
can't quite get ahead of it because they get fitter and fitter and fitter.
That's right. But I do use that still today when people come and they want to go to the shows or the shoots or whatever, and I'm like, well, have you warmed your horse up? Well, yeah, I was on him for 10 minutes, and we walked around, and I was like, yeah, I saw you out there just chit-chatting at a walk the whole time.
Yeah.
Lope them down, get them.
Get them mentally in the game.
Mentally
At
in the
least
game.
get the damn fresh off them.
That's right.
Especially when you're galloping around with a fucking gun.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I bet that could get dangerous. Somebody walking a horse around and not warming it up and then go galloping and it dumps their ass
Yeah.
at a flat gallop.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that was my biggest takeaway from that era of my life. And then, of course, work ethic and, and just to shut your mouth, do your job. And
Isn't that funny? Shut your mouth and do your job. That'll take you a long way, won't it?
Yeah.
As a young person, those 2 things, shut your mouth and do your job and listen and learn, that'll get you a long way, real quick.
yes, I do regret not asking more questions of that. But again, I was told to just do your job. But I think looking back, that was like the highbrow cat era. And that
Yeah.
was.
What year would this have
This
been,
would have been early 90s.
Yeah. When I say shut my mouth, I don't think any trainer or barn manager cares if you ask questions. In fact, I think they like when you ask questions. How come you do it like this? But what they don't like is your opinion.
Exactly.
If we wanted your opinion, we would have fucking asked for it.
Yeah.
What we need you to do is learn your job, be good at your job, and try really hard at your job. So let me clarify that. I think questions, I encourage questions. I like, in my barn, whether it's the groom or other apprentices, there's no such thing as a stupid question. I want the questions asked because I'd rather you ask the question and me answer it than you be wondering what the hell you're doing or why you're doing it. And if I ask you a question, and you don't know the answer, just say it. I don't know. I won't disrespect you for it. In fact, I'll respect you for it. I'd rather you say, Clinton, I don't know the answer, but let me find out.
Yes.
I'd rather you say that
can
than
you-
try to bullshit to me or lie to me when you just don't know the answer.
That's right. Or can you explain it in a different way? Or
Yes.
something. I think that's really valuable advice is let me explain this in a way that you can understand.
Yes. Awesome. So what time period do you think did you take up? Like you're 18, but you travel around the 2 or 3 different trainers in Texas doing the loping deal. How long does this period last? A year, 2 years?
Yeah, a couple of years.
A couple of years doing that.
Yes.
Okay.
And-
So did you not get the bug for training cutting horses at that point? Did you, where was your head? I'm trying to find out. Were you still having the bug for mounted shooting or what?
No, it wasn't even a sport then. It hadn't even started. And
You're shitting me. I thought you were doing it in high school. No.
No, it was not even in existence then.
Interesting.
At least to my knowledge.
So we're talking early 90s you're doing this loping deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
No computer, no internet. How would
Yeah.
I know?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Now that you say it out loud like that, good point. When did I think I came over here in 1997. 1995, and I think I remember somebody talking about the internet in Australia, World Wide Web or something. When was the earliest you can remember the internet? What year?
Probably 95, 96.
Yeah, 95. That's the earliest I can remember
with the
it being
dial-up
mentioned.
and
Yeah, the dial-up, the old dial-up tone and all that.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that now. So you're right. Before the internet, it kind of makes you wonder how the fuck we even survived.
I know. Pretty much it.
I remember MapQuest when we had to go somewhere. You had to print out MapQuest.
We were just talking about that, the Thomas Guide, in an atlas. How
Yes.
did we find our way? I wouldn't have found my way here.
Yeah.
Not in a million years would I have found this place.
Yeah, that's interesting. So a couple of years of that, what happens now?
I was sought out and offered a job on a cutting ranch in Southern California. So I moved out there and
To do more training or still loping
just
or what?
loping. I mean, I kind of was limited or in my bubble of the opportunities that were presented at that time I didn't know what to do. Again, I didn't go to college for that. I just was kind of bumbling around trying to find my way.
I suppose what I'm trying to ask is, did you have aspirations to maybe, man, I kind of like this cutting, I'd like to learn it, or it didn't really excite you enough to want to try to learn how to train a cutting horse or start colts? You know what I'm trying to ask you?
I do. I think part of that goes back to that not asking questions part. I wasn't ever bold enough at that time of my life to say, can I try that?
Yeah.
Can I, can you take me under your wing? I want to learn more.
Yes.
I was riding 12, 14 horses a day because I didn't say no.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so they just kept piling work on, and I didn't really get an opportunity to get in front of a cow.
Yeah.
And I did other things.
Yeah.
And so I think part of that was, it wasn't that I wasn't interested in the discipline, I just didn't really have
the confidence to speak up and ask some
probably.
questions. Yeah.
I would think
you're a
back
young girl.
now.
Yeah, you might lack a little confidence in some areas. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Small town, really naive,
Yep.
and the words, you got to pay your dues, which is what I heard more oftentimes than not
Yes.
with everybody. And I'm like, well, what does that even mean? You know, it didn't resonate to me until later what
Yes.
that meant. And
Yes.
so I was like, well, I've just rode my 12th horse for the day, and
Yeah.
I've had 4 hours of sleep for the last 2 months, because
It's funny how I always say this about the Western industry. The Western industry, yes, they're saying you've got to pay your dues, which in my opinion means you have to start at the bottom and work your way to the top. And that's very important, from whether you're starting cleaning stalls and you show great work ethic until eventually you're learning how to start colts, eventually learn how to train horses, etc. So the pay your dues is start at the bottom and earn the right to be able to work with these really expensive horses that cost a lot of money and other people are paying for. But the horse industry is notorious. I'll just say it. I'll get some shit for it, but fuck it. The horse industry is notorious for burning up young people. It's notorious for it. I know some people in the circus industry as well, and they say, Clinton, it's the same in the circus industry. Kids come there, big aspirations, and they just get worked to death till they just quit. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that is the bad part about it. Now, yes, does it teach them work ethic? Absolutely. Does it teach them to have a backbone? Yes. But there is a point there where it becomes unhealthy, to where it can run off some young people because, like you said, 4 hours sleep in 3 fucking months. It gets to that point where it's excessive to where nobody wants to do it anymore.
Yeah, and it wasn't a case of not wanting to. I just
physically.
Yeah, or I just didn't have the nudge to say, hey, kid, you've got talent. Like, let's see, do you want to come and do more?
Do more, right.
This year, everything changes.
You can go fast alone, you can go far together, and there's no doubt we go a lot further than we'll ever imagine.
We have the chance to pay out $1 million this year.
If we have a cell graduate win first, it's $1 million bonus.
The amount of money is amazing, and I think that it's going to get nothing but better.
That's going to be a game-changing and a life-changing experience.
From the sale ring to the $1 million arena. Join us at Old West. Learn more at oldwest.com.
The last year, I've been using the Real Cow. What a game changer. Out of all the mechanical cow devices I've ever had, this is by far the best, hands down. What I love about the Real Cow is that it simulates as close as you can to a real cow. With its 2 speeds, and not only in the 2 speeds, you can control the speed within that gear as well. You can make the cow go away from you, make it come back towards you, make it arc around you. You can circle it if you're a cow horse trainer, or go down the fence. The versatility of this device is unbelievable. I'll actually load it up and take it to horse shows. Now I've got a mechanical cow. Wherever I want to go work my horse, I just pull it out and start using it. The Real Cow is an absolute game changer. Make sure you go to their website, realcowtraining.com, and check it out. It's the best investment you'll ever make in your cow horse or cutting horse's career. This episode is brought to you in part by Valley Equine, managing stallions that represent the performance horse industry's finest. So did you move to California then?
I did.
You would have been, 20 years old by now?
Not even. I think I was, because I graduated early at 17, so I was 19 when I moved to California.
Okay.
Same thing, worked out there, and then it was there that I was trying to drum up some extra cash, because that's when I was getting paid like $125 a week to do this.
And a place to live.
12-hour day work and a place to live.
Yeah.
Right, and to say that out loud now just seems so, but whatever. I was living the dream, right?
Living the dream, yeah. It depends. So one time I had a guy send me a nasty email about why do apprentices or assistants get paid so little. And the answer is because in the beginning they're not worth much because they don't bring any experience. They don't bring any skill set. They're basically green. So in the beginning, you know, and I myself included, I think I fucked up way more shit than I ever produced.
Same.
So you're actually a liability for the first year or two.
Right.
Because all you do is screw up shit and cost them money. Fucking drive the tractor into the pond, drive the tractor inside the barn, fucking forget to tie the stud up and it gets loose and breeds a mare. And all the dumb shit we do as young adults, because we're young and stupid and we don't have life experience, that's why we don't get paid much, because we're not worth much. And the reality of it. Now, once we get a skill set and once we become handy and once we can make a trainer's life easier, yeah, we should get paid more, and we usually do.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
I drove a dually into a Dairy Queen speaker at the drive-through, brand new Dodge dually of my boss, and so same thing. Like I'd only driven regular pickup trucks in growing up with, you know, and I had my license a year.
Yeah.
And now I'm driving, you know, a whole load full of these
expensive horses.
Very, very. And he was like, "Can you come bring these horses to the practice pen?" Like, I barely know how to drive, you know, at all. And now I've got this load full of horses. And so things like that. I was a liability.
Yeah. I've probably bought more fenders on horse trailers than any man alive out of all the fucking kids that have drove my rigs and cut the corner and ripped off the fenders of a horse trailer. I swear to God, I've got fenders all over this country just laying beside gas stations and poles and shit like that.
Couple tailgates too.
You know what I started doing later in my career though is and I'd always tell the kids, pull out wide, watch your mirrors, blah blah blah. But again, we're young, we're stupid, we don't have any experience. What I started doing towards the end, and it worked really well, I told them, when they'd show up, I say, see this horse trailer? You have to take a quick video of the horse trailer before you get in it, every time you get in it. Because I said, if you fuck it up, if you rip a fender off, I'm making you pay for it. And I'd say to them, I don't want your money. But if I don't make you pay for this, you'll keep doing it.
That's right.
I can chew your ass, I can yell and scream, I can get pissed at you, but nothing hurts like it's your pocketbook. So what I started doing is the first couple of times they'd do it, I'd make them pay for it, I'd make them give me the money, and then a couple of months later I'd give them the money back.
Sure, yeah.
You know, I didn't want the fucking
lesson.
money. I just wanted them to understand some things have got some teeth to it. Mm-hmm. You know, I do that a lot now. When they fuck shit up, you know, within reason, I make them pay for it, and later on I'll give them the money. I don't tell them that, but I give them the money back later on. But nothing hurts like your own pocketbook.
That's right.
You know? So how long you at this California job for?
So I was there, I was there for a while. I'm just going to say that because it was at that time that I was introduced to the sport of mounted shooting.
Okay.
So that kind of segues into that. So, I was looking for extra work because of my $100 a week paycheck.
Yes.
And so I was kind of just going around to the different barns to see if anybody needed extra help, whatever.
For the extra
horses.
1 hour a night you had free?
I know. Well, when I got to California, I didn't have quite the
string of horses.
It wasn't quite as heavy as far as workload.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And what were the barns in that area? Were they pleasure horse barns, cutting barns, reining barns? What was the horse industry like around that area? What city was it in California?
This was in Santa Clarita, Saugus area.
Mm-hmm.
So. No, actually, I didn't go to the high dollar ones. I went to the cheap ones because that's what was there and it was available. So I just kind of showed up by way of knowing, you know, meeting people and
introducing yourself.
Yeah, and
that's great life skills right there. Just
sure.
Hey, this is my name. This is who I am. Can I help out? Steve Ross talked about that. Did you listen to the Steve Ross podcast at all? He's a really good horseman and he's a really kind of high end horse broker. And he had a wonderful podcast. And he said when he was 13 years old, he didn't come from a horse background at all, but he loved horses and wanted to get a job at a local Arabian barn or saddlebred barn down the road. And his dad prepped him up and he said, walk into the barn, introduce yourself, shake the guy's hand, look him in the eye, tell him what your name is, tell him that you want a job, you're willing to do whatever it takes to get a success here, you'll work mornings, late nights. And he said he walked in there and did it and got a job. But that's a skill set, you know, for a 13-year-old boy, it would have been a little bit intimidating. But he said, my dad coached me up. Walk straight in there. Introduce yourself. Shake the guy's hand. Especially when you walk in there and say, what can I do for you?
Right.
Not what can you do for me? What can I do for you to help you? I don't want a job, but I want to make your day easier. What can I do?
That's right. And therein lies the difference in age group, too. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's evident as much now.
Not anymore, no.
No. And so, but maybe as I'm saying it out loud, maybe I did learn a little bit about being more bold because that's how I was able to get some extra work. And it was there that I met a guy who was out of town a lot. So he said, yeah, would you come exercise my horse a couple days a week? So I did. And then he said, well, you're a really good rider. Have you ever heard of this sport called Cowboy Mounted Shooting?
What year would this
This
have been?
was 1998 now.
Okay, righto.
So I said...
So you're what, 25, 26?
23.
23, okay.
So I said, no, of course not, because it's brand new. And he said, well, you should come out and check it out. It's so much fun. It's this, that, and whatever. And I said, okay. So the group was doing a demo, like a exhibition down at this place called Westfest in San Bernardino. And it was kind of like off in the rodeo arena. They had country music artists. They had a whole bunch of things going on that weekend. So I showed up, and this was how raw the sport was then. They were like, this sport's so fun, anybody can try it. Let's pull somebody out of the audience and give them a go. And I think about that now too. Like, sure, let's give somebody a firearm. Because we don't even know what you can do on a horse, and let you go and just
That's amazing.
Go. I know.
Could you just imagine the fucking Liberals having a breakdown of that?
I know.
Pulling some random asshole out of the stands, giving him a fucking gun and a horse and say, knock yourself out.
That asshole was me.
That's funny.
So, of course, he knew me, and I'm sitting in the stands, and so he came up and he said, hey, how about you? Why don't you come out here and try this?
Oh, so you guys had it staged a little bit?
No.
Did you? Oh, it wasn't staged. He literally picked you.
Yes, I'm just watching.
I was thinking maybe you two had this little act going. No, okay.
It was between him. He had a mic on, I think, and he was bantering back and forth with the announcer. And this is a small space, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the stands were packed, though.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, sure, I'm 23 years old. I'll do anything.
Yeah.
And I'm confident on the horse, but I've never held a gun before, so okay, sure. So they took me back behind the chutes, and they're, just kind of basically put the gun belt on and said, here's the gun, it's loaded, here's how you point it, you pull the hammer, and you shoot. And then just go. And so I said, okay. So got out, and they said, run down there, turn the barrel, and then shoot all the balloons as you come back. Okay, great, I'll do that. So I hauled ass down, turned the barrel, and maybe got 1 or 2 shots off, because I forgot you had to pull the hammer each time. Right? But all of a sudden I had that like shaky hand adrenaline feeling.
So the junkie got started.
Oh my gosh, it did.
That's funny.
Yeah, so then I had to do more. So I entered my first competition or match the following weekend.
Is that what they call them, a match?
A match.
It's called a match, okay.
Or a shoot. We call it a shoot.
Shoot or a match. And at that stage, was there an association in the local area? Had it got some legs to it now? Talk about the industry as a general back in this time.
Yeah, so CMSA, Cowboy Mounted Shooting Association,
that's the national body?
It is.
Okay.
It just celebrated its 30th year or something like that. So it's been around a while, and I was kind of getting into it right on the ground floor. So yes, there was a governing body. This was the California group was a charter club of the main association. So they held their California state championship the following weekend, but it was small. This is a brand new sport. It's just getting off the ground. So the biggest shoot of the year was, 30 people or 40 people.
That's okay.
Yeah, it was good for me because I could ride, but I didn't know how to shoot very well. But that's a mechanical skill. And I think that's where I kind of catapulted myself up into where I'm at now, just because the sport started from shooters that had maybe acquired some horses, not a horse sport that decided to have some guns.
Good point.
If that makes sense.
Yep, that's a good point.
So,
do you know who the founding members or founding people of the association are?
Absolutely, yeah. They were still hot and heavy. They were just beginning, so they were all still competing at the time. And Jim Rogers, he's the founder of our sport. I just talked to him yesterday.
Okay.
He showed up at our shoot in Las Vegas last weekend. It's the big, at South Point. I mean, it's grown that much. So he's still around. He's not riding anymore, but
how old would he be?
He's probably 81 or 82.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I bet he's just so proud to see where the association's gone.
He has.
Where is the national office? Where's your main headquarters for the association?
It started in Scottsdale, and then it moved to Roswell, New Mexico, and now it's in Tennessee.
I've been doing business now at DT Horses for probably almost 10 years now. And one of the things I really appreciate about doing business with them is they're horsemen first. They care about who buys their horses, where their horses go, and ultimately they want the horse to excel at whatever event it has the most natural disposition and talent to do. Sure, they raise world champion cow horses, reining horses, cutting horses, and rope horse futurity horses, but in reality, Dean Tufton is fanatical about letting that horse tell you what event it's going to excel at. Sure, we might buy a cow horse, but it may be suited better for the rope horse futurity prospects, might be suited better for a cutter. You don't often get breeders that are absolutely fanatical about making sure those horses get the best start possible and ultimately excel in the event that they're going to do the best at. They have the most natural talent, disposition, and they enjoy that particular event. Like I said, been doing business with DT horses now for a little over 10 years and absolutely enjoy it. One of the best places I've got to buy my horses.
For information about the athletes available, please contact the DT Horses office at 480-471-4348.
Hi everyone, my name is Michael Miola. My wife Michelle and I own and run the fabulous Silver Spurs Equine Breeding Centers located in Purcell, Oklahoma and Scottsdale, Arizona. We specialize in making your equine dreams come true by breeding the finest American quarter horses in the world. You know, finding that special horse, the one that speaks to your soul, is what Silver Spurs is all about. When you come to our ranch in Purcell, Oklahoma, you will meet that fabulous weanling that once trained, utilizing Clinton Anderson's tried and proven methods, will become an extension of your body, knowing intuitively what you want to do and give you endless hours of adventure and love. Our stallions are the elite. They represent the finest bloodlines in their sport and have won every championship title during their competitive careers. Our breeding program is partially skill, partially science, partially art, definitely a gift from God, but mostly love. So if you share our passion and possess the drive and desire to compete in the show pen or tour the great American landscape with a loyal companion, creating adventures you will treasure for a lifetime, Silver Spurs has the horse you've been dreaming of.
This episode is brought to you in part by Breaking Bad, the hottest new NCHA futurity sire. Once you got that first bug, did you buy some guns? How'd you get introduced to the shooting part, learning how to shoot? How'd that part start to evolve?
I'm 23. I'm making $100 a week. I borrowed everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
So from there, I was loaned a horse who had been gun broke and ready to go. Everything. I just borrowed everything until I could acquire my own stuff.
You're starting to do this every other weekend type of deal. You're still working for the cutting horse trainer. You're doing this on the side or on the weekends, correct?
Actually, once I started branching out from that, I didn't work for the cutting horse farm anymore.
So you started just getting some work around. I'm just trying to figure out how you're feeding yourself, how you're making a living as you're doing this transition.
Well, so this is kind of off on a goat trail right now, but I decided that I'd heard that when you're living in Southern California, you can go do temp work. So I
office temp work, stuff like that, secretarial stuff.
So I completely legally blonde it. I put on a pair of hose, a skirt, and I ended up working at the Walt Disney Company in their corporate office for 6 years.
You're shitting me.
I'm not kidding.
Stuck your tits out, put the skirt on, the heels. You fucking nailed it. I love it. Hey, got to use the assets God gave you.
Gosh.
I love it.
And so I would get off work, and this is downtown Burbank. I get off work, and I'm changing clothes in my car to put my, taking everything off, changing clothes in the car to get to the barn, to then ride for these side jobs that I was doing at the time, and then shooting on the weekend.
That's awesome. What did you do for Disney?
I worked for the senior vice president of marketing.
Yeah.
So when we talked about the college aspect, but the life skills of acquiring, shut your mouth, do your job, of learning all of those things along the way, I mean, I was right there in the middle of all of it during the Lion King, the Toy Story, when they're
at their peak.
Yeah.
Before I got fucking woke and stupid. Yes.
Yeah, and it was really an amazing experience, and I didn't know it at the time, but I was learning how to be a business person.
Yes.
And so I take that nugget from that era of my life too. But it was, again, a lot of hard work because I'm working a full-time 8-hour job driving in LA traffic to get to the barn, riding, and then shooting on the weekends.
Yeah. I don't think unless you come from money, and really, there's very few people that really do come from money in the vast scheme of things. It's supposed to be hard. You know what I mean? Don't you think? In your 20s, you're broke. You got no fucking money.
No.
Your parents, if they're smart, they're not giving you any. They might help you out if you can't eat a meal, but that's about it. I distinctly remember when I left high school at 15 because I knew I wanted to train horses with Gordon McKinley. I distinctly remember my dad said, "You can leave high school at 15, you can leave, but you can't come back." Like, I distinctly remember that. Like, you can come back for Christmas and shit like that, but you're not coming back here to live. I don't know how committed I might have been if I knew I had a plan B.
Right. Same.
There wasn't a plan fucking B there. I couldn't go home. And I'm glad he told me that. Mm-hmm. You don't get to come home. When you fucking leave here, you're not a kid anymore. You're an adult, and adults don't live with their fucking parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. My parents did say, if it gets really bad, yes, you always have a place. Mm-hmm. But I think at that point I was too strong-willed and proud to
and that's good.
Admit that I was broke. She did send me a phone card back, like you had to dial this number.
That.
Okay, so I could call home, and I
forgot all even about those
things. I know.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
These kids listen, what's a phone card?
I know.
You little fucks, you wouldn't know. But it's when you're dirt poor and your parents instead of giving you money because they're worried you're going to fucking buy alcohol with it, they give you a phone card so you can communicate with them and tell them how much your life sucks.
Exactly.
That's funny. So, okay, so that's awesome. So, yeah, so the Disney job gave you life skills, communication skills.
Probably and a paycheck.
And a paycheck. And it probably got you out of being so shy, correct, as a young girl, teach you to deal with other adults and stuff like that?
Absolutely.
Did you have an apartment in town? Where'd you live?
No, I lived still out near Santa Clarita where I had the cutting horse job. So I had roommates.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which was weird. I mean, if you think about how do you get roommates? They were weird. I don't remember how I found them, but it was
I think broke people just flock together.
I think
it's like, how does a homeless person find another fucking homeless person? They just do.
It's magnets.
You know what I'm trying to say? I've always said this. You are who you hang around. Rich people hang out with rich people. Poor people hang out with poor people. Drug addicts hang out with drug addicts.
Yeah.
You are. I truly believe this. You are who you hang around. Mm-hmm. That's, Democrats hang out with fucking Democrats. Republicans hang out with Republicans.
It's so much easier.
It is easier. That's awesome. So at that point, after 6 years, you're still doing the matches and the shooting on the weekends, stuff like that. I suspect as you're getting some more money, you're buying your own guns and you're acquiring a bit of bullshit now, tack and stuff. What about horses? Who's supplying your horses? Are you buying your own? Are you trading them? What are you doing on the horse flesh part of this?
Yeah, I did buy a horse. He wasn't, rest his soul, bless his heart, wasn't the best, but it was one of those that I could afford.
Cheap, yeah.
And I was able to afford the board, and I, at that point, had found a little guest house in a place where that was horse-friendly. So it was just me, and I had a 1974 two-horse Miley trailer.
That's awesome.
It was completely rusted out, and I pulled it with my Ford Explorer. I mean, that was me going down the road just because I was bound to do anything to continue this lifestyle that I wanted. And so I had that for a while. And then
now, were you around other mounted shooting people that were encouraging you, teaching you what to do? Who's educating you, mentoring you? Who's teaching you about this mounted shooter? Are you just learning by trial and error at this point? Tell me about this part of the journey now. You're hooked on it. You got the bug. How are you getting better at this thing during this Disney time? Who's mentoring you?
That's a great question. I didn't have one specific mentor pretty much ever. So it was a lot of observation. There were a few men that were, like the president of the California Club. He took me under his wing, and he kind of gave me, he was a gun guy, so he gave me a lot of tips on shooting, and anything that intimidated me on the course, he would drill that into me as far as, like there's something called a gate where you have to pass through two targets and shoot one off shot and one on shot. And I would run up to it, stop, shoot, and continue going. Yeah. He's like, hey, it's a timed event, keep going. So he kind of did a lot of he helped me a lot as far as building confidence in that. And, you know, I had a lot of support. I was one of the younger people in the group because old gun guys.
Yeah.
Now with horses.
Yeah.
So I did have a lot of people that were watching over me at the time.
Do you think, was there a lot of other younger people your age getting into it, or was kind of an older person's sport? You know what I'm trying to say? Was it attractive to you? You were being in your mid-20s now, or maybe later 20s. Were you the youngest of the crowd, or there was you get what I'm trying? I'm trying to get an idea of the demographics.
Yeah, it was an older crowd at first. It's gotten over the last 30 years or whatever it is now. It's definitely, there's a huge contingent of young people coming in. So, but back then, definitely, I was one of the younger group people.
Yeah. Okay, so when did you decide to leave Disney, and what was your next career move there? Like, you know, you're doing 2 jobs, you're working at Disney 6 years, you're getting a little money put together, you're still doing the mounted shooting. At what point did you make the next jump? What happens in your life? Do you get married? You have kids? Where are we on this jump of your life here?
Yes. Well, I got married.
Hey, I've been divorced twice, bitch, so don't be embarrassed about shit, okay? So if you're worried about that part, just fucking spit it out,
It's
okay?
all right. It's okay. So I met my now ex-husband.
Yeah, that's all right.
Down when I was still living in California. I flew back home to Washington for a family gathering and was set up with him and hit it off, of course.
Of course you do.
Of course.
Yeah,
And
you're always attracted to the wrong people.
Yeah, 100%.
Have you ever noticed that the people that treat you right don't fuck you right, and the people that fuck you right won't treat you right? It's God's sick way in the world. Really think that through for just a second.
Yeah.
The people that treat you right don't fuck you right, and the people that fuck you right won't treat you right.
It's not like the homeless people gathering up.
Exactly. So you get married, you meet this guy, you get married soon after?
So I decided at this point, I'm just going to move back to Washington because I found the guy. Like, he's great. He's great to me. This is what I want. This is what I want. So
you're head over heels. You're an NRE, new relationship energy. He could take a shit on the floor and you think it's the most beautiful chocolate figurine you've ever seen. Like you're delusional, correct? Am I right or wrong?
I mean, he's kind. He's like my dad. You know, he's helpful. He's good building stuff. He can fix things, all the stuff. Not a horse guy. Okay. But willing.
Ding, ding, ding. Right there.
But willing to do the stuff.
Willing to do the stuff. So he was willing to be the barn bitch.
Yeah. Hindsight says for a while he
for a while until he got you to sign on the dotted line.
Until I abused that privilege.
That's funny. So you moved back to Washington then?
I did, and we got married, and we bought a place in Ellensburg, Washington, so on the central side of the state, which I was having a hard time thinking about moving back to Washington because I've been chasing the sun. I moved to Texas. I moved to Southern California. I enjoy the nice weather. But I was like, nope, I'm going to do this.
So why Washington then? Why didn't you get married and move back to the sun? Like what made, was it he from Washington? Is that what?
Yes.
Okay, so was that the main push? Is he wanted to stay in Washington?
Well, I thought, okay, it's time. I've done my stint in California. I've done done almost 10 years down there. I've done all the things. Now it's time to move closer to family. Mm-hmm. My family still lives in the house where I grew up.
Yeah. Do you think, were you pushing that? Your family pushing that, or do you think culture was pushing that? And the reason I bring up culture is I got married at 21. We didn't know the difference between love and lust. We're just a couple of dumb kids, you know what I mean, looking back on it. But a lot of things I did in my early 20s was culture. You know, this is what you expected. You got married, you had kids. I dodged that bullet. But I'm asking you, where do you think that pressure came from? Do you think you put it on yourself? Do you think it came from your family? Do you think it came from culture? You know what I mean? That's a genuine question.
It wasn't my family, but it was culture probably, because my two sisters were having families, and I was feeling like I'd been out floating in the wind for a while, 10 years on my own, trying different things, and just maybe feeling a little left out or lonely. Like,
fair enough.
This is, mom and dad still are together, and my sisters have great marriages and all these kids, and here I am, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
You know what's funny to me is, I appreciate your honesty on the subject, is that a lot of people say, well, everybody else is getting married. Everybody else is fucking miserable too. Miserably likes company.
Yeah.
And it's always it's always fun to see what everybody else is doing, but there's a whole other side to what everybody else is doing that you don't know about, but I promise you is not as attractive as you think it is from the outside.
That's right.
You know, now as a 50-year-old man, I wish I wouldn't have done a lot of things I did because everybody else was doing it.
Same,
I wish I
yeah.
would have walked my own path in a few personal areas. I did in business and in my career, but when it comes to love and that type of stuff, I didn't walk the walk I wanted to walk because of culture, pressure, this is what everybody else is doing, etc. And in my heart, I knew I was doing the wrong thing. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, even though I moved back, we bought the place, we're still 2 hours away, so it wasn't like we were going out to bingo on Friday nights or having the quiz. You know, we weren't doing family dinners. So it was still, I was still living far enough away where it didn't, I got to see them more often. But then, you know, I started to get, from there, I decided that I wanted to bring my passion for mounted shooting to Washington because it didn't really exist. Still new sport. And so I was like, well, I'm going to start a club up here. I'm going to just lay the groundwork for this. So I called my mom, of course, and she had a buddy that ran the Bull Riders Open at Monroe Fairgrounds. And so I said, hey, can you see if she would give us 5 minutes? And I literally like pulled some horse out of the pasture. It's not broke for gunfire. Like, it's so stupid.
Crazy.
No, stupid. But I said, could she give us 5 minutes? And I rounded a couple other people together and like, hey, we got to go do this demo because I know when people see it, they're going to want to try it. I just know it. And so we did it. We did it. And
everybody survived?
Oh, yeah. But it was cool because I thought, okay, how do I do this? We're going to do the demo. And then I set up a little table by the beer garden. So, because I know everybody's going to go there after.
Absolutely.
And so I had my old TV with the VCR thing in it, brought the big TV out, had mounted shooting running on it. And then I was like, well, I'm going to set up a clinic next weekend to teach a clinic, new shooters clinic, bring your horses, which was fun.
I bet that was a fucking disaster from the horse perspective. I know how many horsemanship clinics I've done where I wouldn't let people ride the first day because everybody would get bucked off. Seriously, I wouldn't let them ride the first day. The horses were so unbroke, so unruly that we'd ride them on Saturday and Sunday, but Friday we just knocked the shit out of them on the ground.
Yeah.
Knock them so hard on the ground and I used to knock the shit out of the horses, knock the shit out of the people. So both of them were tired enough Saturday that we could get our shit together.
Goes back to that warm up.
Yeah.
Right? We learned something with that.
Yeah. How'd the meet and greet go? Did people come up to the table?
Yeah.
Did they get interest?
It went from 0 to, we had like 100 members within the first month or two. It wasn't pretty, but we did it.
Yeah.
And just like you said, I mean, these people were bringing horses that they come in a halter.
Yes.
I'm like, do you have
to ride it in a halter? Yeah.
Do you have a bridle for that thing? No, we ride in a halter.
Yeah, fucking bitless bridle.
Okay,
They're always the craziest bitches.
Has it ever
Women
been
that show up in the bitless bridle and fucking webbing halters, just go shoot yourself in the head now. It'll be less painful, I swear.
And they know everything, right? And so, yeah. It was an interesting era. Let me say it like that.
I tell you what, we've got to cut a break here to put fresh tape in. I want to come back and specifically talk about, when we come back, this first clinic that you put on, this introductory thing, because I want to know how good it was, how disastrous it was, what fucking shit went wrong, what went right. And because I think people need to learn, everybody starts somewhere. You know what I mean? And I can remember we all suck in the beginning when we're trying something new. Yeah. So nobody's making fun of anybody for sucking, but there's some good damn stories in there.
Breaking Bad is a 2020 stallion by Stevie Ray Vaughan, out of the all-time leading broodmare Sweet Abra. He is dual-registered AQHA and APHA, and is 6-panel NN. At just 6 years old, he's already earned over $230,000 and is still showing. He is nominated to the major NCHA and NRCHA stallion programs and is part of the new Legacy Bonus, which has an estimated payout of $1 million to be paid at the NCHA Futurity. For more information or to request your breeding contract, contact Beau Gallion Stallion Services or Fultz Ranch at 806-672-6039.
For over 5 years now, I've been using the Cold Creek Spas to take care of my horses to make sure they're sound, happy, and in good condition. I believe the Cold Creek Spa has cut my vet bills back by at least 50%. Spas have been around for a long time, but as a general rule, they've been a lot of junk. They break down all the time. They're never working. Cold Creek Spa are using the latest in technology, industrial strength equipment, and they simply just don't break. Make sure you stop by their website, coldcreekequine.com. Check out their products. You will not be disappointed. A spa will pay for itself, I promise you, within the first year of use.
DT Horses was founded with one goal in mind: produce elite performance horses. For over 20 years, we've consistently met that goal and raised the bar, thanks to our dedication and focus on what matters most. DT Horses believes that every horse we raise deserves the best start possible. With a great foundation in place, all our colts go on to excel in the discipline best suited for them. We have many top performers in team roping, cow horse, cutting, calf roping, and barrel racing. We're offering our elite horses to the public. For information about the athletes available, please contact the DT Horses office at 480-471-4348. Learn more about DT Horses and the impact we've made on the Western performance horse world at dthorses.com.
This episode is brought to you in part by Old West Futurities, where legends are made and records are broken. You move back to Washington, you do this demonstration, you get 100 members showing up, you're doing your first, is it like a free introductory clinic to mounted shooting? What is it? Do you charge people? What is this?
No, I definitely charged people.
Okay, but it was the first time you ever tried to put on a mounted shooting clinic in Washington, is that right?
In Washington, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And how many people showed up? Do you remember much about it?
I think I limited it just because of the gun aspect.
Yep.
I think I limited it to maybe 20 people.
Okay.
Which was
a lot.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot too. Now, we might as well bring this up now because there's going to be a lot of people that don't understand this part of it, but I'll ask it anyway. We're shooting guns, but what are they actually shooting? You know, if they call it a blank, do they? Is that what do they call what comes out of the gun? Normally it's a bullet, of course, but what in your sport, what do they call what comes out of the gun?
It's a .45 caliber cartridge.
Okay, it's that big. I didn't know it was that big.
It's
That's
single
got a bit
action.
of kick to
It's
it.
total wide arp shit.
Right. It's got some kick to it. A 45.
Yeah, but
Truly.
it doesn't have the recoil that you'd expect because there's no bullet.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
It's full of black powder and it's crimped at the end. Sort of like what you could say like a shotgun load would look like.
Yep.
But it's the burning powder that breaks the target.
And the target is always a balloon.
It is. And they do that because it's reactionary. So it's spectator friendly.
Yep.
You can it's either there or it's not.
It's not. And how far does the gunpowder come out of the gun? How far can you actually bust a balloon? Like 5 feet, 10 feet, 15? What's the distance there?
It's certified to travel no more than 20 before it burns out completely. And that way we can do it in front of spectators without shooting anybody's eye out.
Yeah, good point. So up to 20 feet, it'll get a balloon.
Yeah, I mean, it comes out, it spreads, and then it burns out.
Okay. I'm going to ask it, fuck it. Like, if you shot somebody with it 5 feet away, will it burn your ass? Like,
yes.
It's got some kick to it, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Like, would it kill a snake? Is it like rat shot?
It would burn a big hole in it. It's not like rat shot.
Okay,
No.
that's what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to get a bit of an image on how much bite this shit's got. So it's not rat shot, but it would certainly burn a hole in your ass if you shot 5 feet away from you.
An example of that is one of our shooters was loading from horseback, and he somehow
shot himself. Shot his dick.
And then he went in, because he's a tough old cowboy, he went and still ran his run, came back out, slumped over, and said, hey, you need to take me to the ER. 70 grams worth of skin grafts.
Oh, no.
Because it keeps burning. The powder, the black powder, keeps going.
Holy shit. I need to meet this
guy. And I was in the loading area with him. It was like, whoa, because it shocks everybody when there's gunfire going on outside of the arena.
Yeah, it's not like the Wild West. Everybody knows the shooting's supposed to be in the arena.
Yes.
So when you start hearing shooting outside, somebody fucked up. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, that's pretty obvious.
Exactly. And now they've made it a rule where you'll get a penalty, a disqualification if you accidentally shoot your gun off anywhere else.
How much does that actually happen that people fucking do
a
this?
Lot. You'd be surprised. Because, people were practicing their dry firing, whatever, and they forgot that they already loaded the gun. Blam! And then it scares everybody and the horses. And
oh, it's just Frank again.
Exactly.
That's funny. Okay. So you do this clinic, 20 people show up. they're showing up, you said, in halters, bitless bridles, shit like that.
Yeah.
And that would be dangerous, correct? Because you're loping and eventually galloping doing this, correct?
Yeah, and a horse has to navigate a course one-handed.
One-handed too, yeah, good point.
Because there's a lot of folks that have never gone one-handed. They're always riding with two hands, and so that I didn't know what I didn't know as far as criteria goes. So I made it a prerequisite, like you must be able to ride with one hand.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Second thing, your horse must be able to go through a course one-handed, and not to then, get halfway through and the horse is going off into left field and then you grab with a loaded gun and try to pull the nose around.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that we do as riders to go back to what we know, and we forget that there's now a gun
in your hand.
Yes.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So did anybody die from his first clinic?
Nobody
Was it a
died.
success?
Nobody died, but there was a lot of tails between the legs, and a lot of people that were inspired to continue on, and a lot of those people are still shooting now. So, I'm just a pusher. I'm just a dealer on this.
Proud of it too.
That's right.
So let me ask you a genuine question. How do you introduce the guns to your horses? I know how I've done it in my career for different, not that I was a mounted shooter, but for different demonstrations and rode to the horse. I had a gun one year and all that, but I used to desensitize the colt. But how do you guys as an industry, or how do you introduce guns to a horse?
I start all my horses with a 22, so something that's not as noisy as the 45. All my horses wear hearing protection also.
So they got plugs in their ear. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and I have to say that again for all the audiences.
Yes.
My horses do wear earplugs.
Right. Is that industry standard? Everybody does that?
Not everybody.
Okay.
It's not a requirement. It's a suggestion. But
why wouldn't you want to do that?
Some horses they don't, like if they've got ear problems from the past, or I do have one right now that I can hardly get a bridle on him. He came with some baggage, and so it's not easy for me to get a plug in his ear.
Yep.
And he doesn't care about gunfire, so the sound of it. So I'm just like, you're fine.
Yeah. Who cares? Yeah.
So sometimes I don't want to push the issue, and then I can't halter him or bridle him at all.
I know a lot of reiners, a lot of cow horse, a lot of cutters, they'll put earplugs in them because it makes them listen better. They pay less attention to the crowd, less attention to the signs. They're almost more in tune.
Yeah.
I've only trained one deaf horse, Titan, Epic Titan, and is the only deaf horse I ever trained, and I thought he was way more in tune with me than a horse that could hear.
You take a sense away.
You take a sense away. That's exactly right. Yes. He taught me a lot about, he was way more in tune to my body than most other horses that could hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you go through some trial and error in this first clinic. Okay.
Yes.
How are you, at that point, how are you making money? Like, you're married, but how are you making a living? How are you surviving doing this? Are you trying to train horses for a living? You're back in Washington. What's going on?
I mean, we did it. Just bought that farm and decided, I'd been like nurturing this career path for a while, part-time. And then, after that clinic, everybody wanted their horses gun broke and want to start shooting.
So you're technically a mounted shooting trainer at that point.
Yeah.
Where you're taking the horses in, introducing them to the guns, getting them a better handle on them. Basically a trainer for that sport, correct?
Absolutely,
Just like a cutting horse trainer, reining horse trainer. You're a trainer for mounted shooting.
That's
correct?
right.
Okay.
And with lessons too.
Yep.
So building that horsemanship at the same time.
How old would you have been at this time?
I was 27-ish, 28.
Yep. What did your ex-husband do at the time for a living? What was he doing?
He was a firefighter in Seattle.
Okay, firefighter. Okay. So you get a barn full of horses pretty quick?
Yeah.
Do you remember what you were charging back in those days?
Like $600 a month.
And that included board too?
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
I know.
Yeah.
Because nobody really, I was known in California, but this is a brand new sport. Nobody knows me in Washington. And so, I didn't know my value then as much. And so that's obviously changed now, but
yeah.
Yeah,
it does. As you get more well-known, you can charge more money. That's exactly right.
Plus, it was such a new sport, and it was a different demographic of people. These weren't reiners that were used to already spending a ton of money.
Yeah, they were backyard people, trail
That's
ride.
right.
They were my customer. My whole customer base was people that trail rided and were out of control on the trail and needed the horse to not fucking kill them.
Exactly.
So they Googled not get killed on your fucking horse. They found me. You know
And
what I
me.
mean? You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? So very much I can appreciate that. They don't want to spend a lot of money. They usually got pretty cheap horses, and our job is to keep them alive and keep them happy and try to keep them safe and so forth. Okay, so you're rocking and rolling along. You're taking horses to train. I suspect you're doing most of it yourself, saddling, unsaddling, training the horses, etc.
I had a couple of girls that started with me. Their mothers wanted to get them involved in the sport. The sport is anybody under 12 rides in what's called the Wrangler class. So they ride the course, they dismount, and then shoot from the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they ride through the pattern, and then they get off the horse, pull their gun out, and shoot what?
Well, they later. So everybody puts their horses away, and then they meet back in the arena. And
On foot?
On foot.
Okay.
And they shoot targets from the ground. So it's a combined score of penalties from the ground and then their elapsed time on the course.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And this is 12 and under for the youth?
That's right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
One group. It's not split into several groups?
Actually, it wasn't at the time. It is now. So limited riders, I think, are under 10, and then 10 or under 9 up to 9. 10 to 12 is the open riders, open wranglers.
Yep.
And they actually have to hold the gun and dry fire it through the course, whereas the littler kids just point a cap gun or their finger.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And that, I mean, it really does. It teaches, firearm safety from a young age, and the whole family can do it. I mean, little kids all the way up to grandparents are all hauling together in the same trailer.
It doesn't sound like, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way at all, but it doesn't sound like it's terribly expensive, but it is a very family-friendly kind of sport. You don't need a $100,000 futurity prospect to go do this deal, correct?
It is definitely
That's
that.
awesome.
It's not there yet. I mean, our top dollar horses right now are upwards of 50.
Yeah.
So we haven't reached that 75 to 100 yet.
Yeah, but it's sure encouraging a lot of new people to get into the sport.
Absolutely. And you can ride anything. There's people out there on mules.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be even registered. You could be great horses.
No, I mean, we are an affiliate. We have an AQHA class as well, an APHA. So those two breed associations have recognized mounted shooting as a legit thing, which is kind of nice. But yeah, you could literally pull whatever Joe you have in your pasture, teach it to shoot a gun and ride around a course and do okay.
That's awesome.
Real Cow is the most realistic mechanical cow on the market. It has the feel of a live cow all at the touch of a button. Its unique rubber track allows it to run smoothly over any surface, and it has the battery power to work horses all day. Real Cow Training Systems makes mechanical cows for cutting, reined cow horse, and calf roping. NCHA and NRCHA top competitors are using Real Cow in their everyday training programs. Join the list of competitors who use the Real Cow by visiting realcowtraining.com to find out more. Mention you heard about us on Clinton Anderson's Uncut and Real Raw podcast for additional discounts.
I have a company called Icon Global, and what we specialize in is marketing and selling of ranches. You are not just selling a piece of land, you're selling one family or a series of families' greatest treasure. They're usually their greatest asset, and so it's a great responsibility.
Finding somebody that really cares about the future of the American West and the future of the ranching way and the ranching lifestyle.
If you're into rope horses and you want to see where the best of the best really show up, Old West Futurities is where it's at. Big-time horses, serious competition, and some of the biggest payouts you'll find anywhere. Old West Futurities is where reputations are made. So whether you're looking to compete, shop for your next standout horse, or just sit back and watch top-tier talent, don't miss it. Head over to oldwest.com to check it out. This episode is brought to you in part by Silver Spurs Equine, home of the $1 Million Challenge. So getting back to you training with a 22 on the ground, and then how do you progress from there?
Actually, I can encourage people to come and bring their horses to a practice or a shoot and just tie them to the fence or ride them around. But then when it comes down to, I don't do it from the ground usually. I ride when I shoot the 22, but I always stay out at 3 o'clock or later. And I use the buddy system quite a bit. So I pair up the new horse with a seasoned athlete, one that doesn't care.
Yep.
Because as you know, horses are herd mentality horses. And so if the seasoned horse says, so the new horse is like, okay, you're not scared. I'm not scared either. And it seems to be a really, really effective method.
Confidence builder.
Absolutely. So, and it doesn't work all the time, but for the most part, it is proven to be quite effective.
Can I ask a question from a horsemanship perspective? And I'm not judging you. I'm just trying to understand. Is there any particular reason why you don't shoot it on the ground first? Like, is it not work for you? Is it ineffective? I just wanted to know, is there a reason why you don't start it on the ground?
Laziness.
Laziness?
Cutting
That's
corners.
okay. That's the
I
answer.
don't feel like standing there. Just
Fair enough.
Get on. I'd rather be on the horseback.
Yeah.
And now I'm embarrassed to say that out loud, but
it's okay. Well, the reason I ask that is that I don't have the ball. Like, I've worked with a lot of problem horses in my career, and I'm lucky to say that I've never seriously been hurt by a horse. It's not because I'm fucking brave, it's because I'm a coward. It's I don't take chances.
Right.
And so why I shoot it on the ground first is I want to know what the fuck he's going to do. When I pull that trigger, I want to be 10 feet away from him, and I want to pull it and just see what comes undone.
Sure.
Because if I'm on the ground and I'm 10, 12 feet away from him on a lead line in a round pen, if he's going to come undone, I'm probably not going to get hurt. But I just sure don't want to be on his back and he comes undone for the first time and I have no idea how he's going to react, good, bad, or indifferent. And I've also found when you introduce something scary to a horse, if you'll walk away from the horse and shoot as you're walking away from the horse, like face him, so if he jumped forward, he wouldn't run over you, turn it and face him, but walk backwards and have him 10, 15 feet away from you and just start shooting out to the side. It builds their confidence very, very quickly. Same with plastic bags. Anything that a horse is frightened of, if you'll go away from them with the object and make them come to you, it builds their confidence very quickly.
Sure.
So once I would get them comfortable on the ground with the shooting and I could walk all around them and shoot and they didn't flinch or didn't give a shit, then I felt confident to do it under saddle.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So, but again, my whole living was teaching people about safety.
Yes.
You were a damn good rider. So if something jumped sideways, you could handle it. If something jumped in the air, you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
My customer was a middle-aged lady that was 50 pounds overweight. That fucking thing jumped sideways. She was on the ground.
Sure.
I'm not being an asshole, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
I had to make sure she stayed safe. She wasn't paying me for bravery. She was paying me so she got to go home and see her grandkids.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? So I just wondered that question.
Yeah,
that
and
was
I should go back before I even do the 22. I usually spend a lot of time dry firing.
Yep.
From horseback so they can hear the clicking sound and see my arm in their peripheral vision and things like that too.
Yep.
But
I would use an Australian stock whip a lot too because that had a cracking noise. You ever done much of that with the horses?
I have not, but I've seen it done.
Yeah, that works really well too. If you'll do that before the gun, they almost couldn't give a shit about the gun.
Yes, and I haven't just because of the coordination aspect.
Yeah, you got to whip your ass a few times.
And I'm going to hit myself.
You got to whip the back of your ear and you got to whip your ass and a few things like that. Okay, so moving on now, you're a full-time mounted shooting horse trainer. Your husband's at the time a firefighter. Where do we go now in your life?
So I'm riding all the time and on my own.
Happy? You
Yeah.
like what you're doing?
Oh,
You're the trainer now. You're the main girl. So you're happy doing this? You're enjoying it?
I'm loving it.
Okay.
And now I'm starting to...
So you're late 20s?
Yep. And starting to hit the road because now I want to go travel and...
So when you say hit the road, these are shooting matches on the road, correct? Are they paying prize money? How are you making a living? Like, horse trainers, reining, cutting, cow horse, trainers get half the prize money. So that's an incentive to go to the horse show. Owner gets half, they get half. What's your incentive to go? Are they giving away prize money at this point, or it's so green you just get a ribbon? What is the incentive to get owners to say, take my horse down the road?
Yeah, prize money and
Okay.
buckles. Don't give ribbons, but...
Yep.
So that
Buckles, trophies, shit like that.
Yeah.
Basically bragging rights.
And money. I mean, there's added money at every shoot.
Yep.
So that helps.
Yep.
Helps put fuel in the tank.
Yeah. So back in those early days, are you able to charge the customers mileage to take their horse down the road,
Could do, yep.
expenses, all that kind of stuff? But in the early days, I'm sure you are now, but in those early days getting started, did you start that? Did you try to run it like a business, I
Yes.
suppose is what I'm asking you? It wasn't just a favor deal where you'll take all these horses to a horse show. It was treated like a business.
Absolutely.
That was smart.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Did you have anybody mentoring you on the horse business aspect of it, of how to make money, how to be successful financially, anything like that?
not really, which is why I think I learned a lot of lessons the hard way through that first era of my career.
Yeah.
Is just like, okay, I've done all this for free, not necessarily the
got me?
mileage, but like I'm not making that much. I'm not charging enough.
Yes.
And by then I had a couple of big wins under my belt and my resume, and so I was kind of like, okay, I should probably, and I'm spending all this time, I should probably start charging more.
Yeah, that's awesome. So where do we go from here then? You're in Washington for how many years now?
I was there for 7 years, but probably 5 years into that, I started snowbirding in Arizona.
Okay.
So I kind of just pick up the business and did the old, like, live in my living quarters trailer and rent a barn and ride horses down there. So that way I could work all year long. In Washington, you work 6 months a year unless you have an indoor barn.
Just because of the rain or the snow?
Rain and snow.
Rain and
just
snow.
the weather is not
It's depressing
conducive.
as hell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no wonder there's a lot of fucking suicide up there. It's fucking liberals and the weather.
I had to buy one of those.
Who wouldn't want to kill themselves living up there in
I
Washington?
know, I had to buy one of those lights to stare into.
That's funny. So where did you used to like to go in Arizona?
Near Scottsdale area.
Yeah, real pretty there, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's where I live now, North Phoenix, basically.
So what prompted so when did you move then from Washington? Where's your next move then? You know, this is going on for 5 or 6 years. What's the next chapter? Did you get divorced during that period? Where are we moving? You don't have children, correct?
No children.
No children. I don't have any children either. So we're in finally I got a guest that says,
Yay.
fuck kids. Fuck them kids. You know how long I've been waiting to say that? Every goddamn fucking guest shows up here. I got 3 kids. They're the love of my life. Finally I got a woman that says, fuck them kids.
I can go home now. I did my part.
I love it. I love it. So no kids. How do you get to the next chapter? Where do you move and how does that work?
Okay, well, before the move, so this was mid 2000s. I bought this horse that was really incredible. He was basically just a trail rider, and he was something. My mom found him and she said, "This is a horse for you," and he's really well bred and has that nice short back, like just how I like him, you know. And so I started him, and what an athlete, just an amazing athlete, but hated gunfire, hated it. And so I spent a year or two thinking, like, this horse he's not gonna like this. He was a horse for me, not a client horse.
Yeah, too fairly, too sensitive.
Yeah.
For a client. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to be a decent horseman to handle him.
Well, that, and then I thought, over time, man, I'm just torturing this poor horse. Like, he just really hates this. And there's too many good ones out there for me to just force that square peg in the round hole. So, but then I gave him the winter off, came back the following spring, and he's like, okay.
Isn't that funny?
He just needed to marinate for a while, you know, just like think about it for a couple months. And he was perfect. And so then from there, like, he was unbeatable.
What made this horse, what was the horse's name?
Justin.
Justin, because this is an important part, because every trainer that sat in that chair where you are, all have their first horse that put them on the map. They all have that first horse that gave them the confidence that I can really do this. So it sounds like this horse was that for you?
He was. I mean,
what did he do that was so special?
Well, in 2009, after a couple of seasons together, I won the high overall at the World Championship, the first and only woman to do that. And still, after all these years, still hold that title. Okay. And he's won it, together we won it a few more times after that. So after he figured out the gunfire was going to be okay, he channeled all that really amazing athletic energy into winning.
Was he just, I'm needing more details. Was he fast? Was he nimble? What did he do that gave you the edge over everybody else? Give me some more specifics of the run. You know what I mean? Like, Bob Abba would sit here and say that Major Bonanza could just drag its ass, just monster stopper. They all did something physically that just was better than every other horse for that era. What did this horse do that gave you the edge?
I think in his advantage, he was always on top of the ground. In turns, he'd never get buried in any type of ground. Mounted shooting they're not as careful about preparation of the ground.
Like barrel races, yeah.
That's right, or cutting or reining, like where you're specific to that depth and everything. Like we're just shooting in a tilled up pasture in the early days.
Yes.
And so, but that horse would never take a misstep. He was just always so easy and smooth, like he'd just glide. And could turn so fast and be back up to top speed without, knocking me out of the saddle, so I could stay steady with my gun handling.
That's a damn good point, isn't it? Because, a lot of horses have got a lot of power and takeoff. Like, how many photos do you see of barrel races where they're a foot out of the saddle, they're starfishing, and the fucking horse is taking off, and they're a foot above the saddle because they're launching them. That is a damn good point. You got a gun in your hand, haven't you?
Yeah, so I can't hold the horn.
You can't hold the horn.
I can't grab
That's a damn
mane.
good point. Never thought about that. That makes it a lot harder, doesn't it?
Yeah. So if you have one that wants to like thrust out of a turn, then you're going to spend the first couple shots after the barrel just trying to get back in the seat.
Yeah.
So I think that's what set him apart. And he was smooth and really just
consistent.
Yeah,
Was he thoroughbred quarter horse? What
he's
was
quarter
he?
horse.
Quarter horse. Do you remember how he was bred by any chance?
He's like from the Poco Bueno, like one of the only horses I still have that still has Doc Bar on his papers back in the day.
Truly,
like
okay.
He's way back there, but you know, just that really solid foundation. So he just really, he's still with us.
How old is that horse?
He's 28.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what ended?
How's his health doing?
Well, that leads me to the next thing. Like as far as tragedy goes, he won the world in 2009. I won it again on him in 2014, and then 2015 he shattered his hind leg.
How do you do that?
I just had a practice run, like for no reason. We just like,
turning?
come around a turn, and it wasn't even a hard turn. I heard something, I felt it, stopped him, and he's holding his leg up. So, but because I'm a big wimp, I was like, let's patch him back up. Like at least he can. Like this horse built my career.
Yeah, you owed it to him.
Spent 10 years.
So would they put some screws in it?
Yeah.
Did he shatter it pretty bad?
Like 5 places.
Yeah, and shit'll happen.
Pastern.
I've had 2 horses in my career that have broke legs while I've rode them. Just freak accidents like that. One of them was at a trot, for Christ's sake. I was working a mechanical cow. I stopped. I backed the horse up. I did a rollback. Not real fast, just kind of a rollback. Heard a crack. Shattered its pastern. And I had another horse do it in a stop, a 2-year-old too, not even stopping that hard, and shattered their fetlock. So shit can happen. Just bad luck.
And it wasn't like we were doing anything really aggressive.
Yes.
It just happened. But so I thought 10 years he spent hundreds of thousands of miles staring out that trailer window, watching the world pass by. Like he's the one who made me. So
that's awesome.
Let's do it. So
did you get him comfortable enough to be sound and walk around and all that kind of stuff?
And not only that, but then I started using him for some lessons. And he went on to go win in Vegas like 2 years later in the level 1 class, which is the introductory class, the intro level. He won in Vegas with a new rider.
That's awesome.
I know.
So he got pretty sound then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's all fused and everything because it still has all the hardware in it, but it is what it is. Now he's full of arthritis and ring bone and all sorts of
of course,
stuff.
at that age, Mindy had a bunch of arthritis in her knees at 29. They're going to have some of that shit go wrong.
But he's still mean as hell at the feeder. Like nobody else can eat until he does and things like that.
That's
so
awesome.
I know he's still got that in him. He knows he's still a champion somewhere in there. It's just.
How much of a setback, we're not talking emotional now, but how much of a setback did that horse getting injured hurt your career? Meaning that, were you able to find the next mount pretty good? Were you able to stay on top of your game? Did it hurt your career for 2 or 3 years till you found the next good horse? Like, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I've always been under the notion that anything can happen anytime, so you always have to have a backup coming up. Like, don't get to that point where your horse is done and now you're looking around. So I had bought a yearling and raised her and just kind of started bringing her along. She wasn't ready to compete at my level yet, but as soon as that happened to him, I'm like, well, you're up. And I think what it kind of reminded me that as a competitor is to be okay being in last place for a while. It's okay, and don't be greedy. Don't push this horse too hard too soon because I want her for the long haul.
Yeah.
So she kind of had to step up, and man, she just did. She did, and she won me 2 more overall world titles before her retirement as well.
That's awesome. Let me ask you, in your industry, is there any common themes as far as, do you guys buy reject cutters? Do you buy reject rope horses, reject reiners? Like, is there a niche market that everybody goes to? Like in the rope horse world, for years that ropers bought our reject cutters and cow horses and shit like that. They could buy them for 25 cents on the dollar. Not so much anymore.
Yeah.
Like, the rope horse futurity thing has really taken off and a lot of money there now. But for many years, they could buy our rejects at 25 cents on the dollar. or somebody's already ridden the damn things for a year, 18 months, and got them pretty broke, and now they just go teach them how to rope. Does that happen in your world for the mountain shooting? Is there any niche market where you guys try to get your horses from?
I do. I don't know
do?
how common that is. I mean, I look for more cow horse lines. A lot of people will find barrel horses that are ready to go, but I don't like that.
Are they too strong?
Too strong, and usually their minds aren't quite as right, in my opinion. I just love a good cow horse. So, but there's not like one particular go-to.
Okay.
Still, a lot of people are just finding horses in their backyards, or there's still a lot of that grassroots mentality in the sport. And we now, in the last couple of years, they didn't start up a futurity program. So there are some stallion owners that are coming in to try to
get the prize money up.
Breed for this, and the SIP is there. But, it's going to take 50 years before we build a mounted shooting line.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
good point.
Their hearts thunder for us. Their flesh and bone pushed to lift us higher, carry us faster, and stop on a dime. And when they've had a great ride, they deserve a great recovery. They deserve a Cold Creek. Cold Creek Spas offer state-of-the-art 35-degree aerated saltwater therapy, proven to reduce injury, speed recovery, and keep them at peak performance. Cold Creek Therapeutic Spas. This water is for winners.
How do you know what it takes to become successful? Talk to someone who's done it. Clinton Anderson became a multi-millionaire by leveraging his passion for horse training into a global brand and media empire, starting with nothing but the change in his pocket and the will to succeed. In doing so, he revolutionized an industry and became a celebrity. Now, you can put his experience and advice to work for your business. With Clinton Anderson's business consultancy, you can tap into Clinton's unique perspective, hear his straight talk, and get his no-nonsense advice. Just imagine yourself armed with Clinton's hard-earned knowledge and entrepreneurial spirit. So whether you own a ranch or any sort of business at all, we invite you to discover the transformative power of Clinton Anderson's leadership and innovation in your business. Call 1-888-287-7432 to take your business to the next level today.
Silver Spurs Equine owns and stands over 30 champion performance horse stallions. They strive to provide options to top prospects for every preference and budget. Reining is the main focus of Silver Spurs breeding program, and they have developed their $1 Million Challenge as an incredible incentive that offers huge payouts to the champions of 7 different reining competitions around the world. Silver Spurs also raises about 150 foals per year at their ranch in Oklahoma, and each one is offered to the public for sale. This provides a wide variety of options to buyers looking for their next prospect, and most would be eligible for the $1 Million Challenge. Find the perfect cross of traditional performance horse bloodlines combined with the modern dynamics of today's performance horses. All available prospects can be found at silverspurssalehorses.com. This episode is brought to you in part by DT Horses, the elite Western performance breeder for cutting, cow horse, and rope horse futurity prospects. Tell me how you get out of this chapter of Washington and you move down to Arizona full time. Like, when did you make that move? What year? What caused that main move?
Oh, well, a divorce.
Divorce, yeah.
Yeah, and part of that, and I take full responsibility for that, was my husband wanted a wife at home, and I was on the road being a star.
Yeah.
Or trying to be a star and building my own career. And, that's just...
It's tough.
It's tough. And I don't blame him for not being happy.
I've been through 2 divorces, and women don't want to be married to men they never see, and men don't want to be married to women they never see.
Well, there you go.
I was on the road 45 weekends a year, traveled by myself. So yeah, in their defense, if you're going to be alone all the time, why be fucking married?
Right.
Let's be honest about it.
No,
if you're going to come
true.
home to an empty house, you might as well be single and doing whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a tough life. That's why I'm saying, unless they're into it and they travel with you, it's extremely tough on relationships, marriages, all that shit.
There's a lot of sacrifice in this type of career choice.
Do you think, or I'm asking the question, that unless your partner has the horse bug, they can't understand why you sacrifice what you do? They don't understand why you have to put the amount of hours in. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I agree with that, unless they have a similar passion on whether it's horse related or not. If they have a similar type of bug, then I think they understand it.
Yep. So you get divorced, you don't have any kids, so that cleans it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You got to separate some property, and then you say you know exactly you want to go to Arizona?
Yeah.
You're hell bent on that, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you moved to Scottsdale. Where do you move?
North Phoenix, yeah.
North Phoenix. And what happens now in your career? Do you change any of your business model? You keep doing what you're doing? Like, talk to me about the next chapter now. You've moved there. What happens?
Yeah,
do you buy a place? Do you rent stalls? What happens?
I own a place now. I rented for a while. For the first part of it, I was just in my trailer. Same thing, just because I wasn't sure where I wanted to settle. So I just did that, or rented a casita, like a guest house with a barn, and then found a place, bought it, and with my now current husband. Mm-hmm. Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm. That's awesome. That's funny.
So but I'm still hot and heavy for my job, and this is still what I do. I travel all over the U.S. all the time to compete and do a lot of clinics now, and I still have horses in training, and it's multifaceted, product.
Yes, I was just going to say, so where is most of your income coming from? Doing clinics or training horses, or how does that work?
I've tried over the last couple of years to limit the number of horses I take in, just because it's killing me. Mm-hmm. And I don't always get the good ones. Yeah. So some of them take a lot of work that maybe they're not even going back to the 90s. Like, maybe they're not ready to even be in the arena yet. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to pick up a lead. They don't.
Too green.
How
do you, if you're doing a lot of clinics then, how do you find time to ride your own horses? How long are the clinics? 2-day clinics, 3 days? What are they? 2 days.
Usually 2.
So do you just fly out a Friday morning and fly back Monday?
That's right.
Okay, it's not as bad.
No.
Because when I was doing it, I had to fly out on a Thursday and fly back Monday evening. So I'm only home Monday evening, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I fly out again Thursday. You can't train a horse 3 days a week.
No. And I'm really forthcoming with my clients too. Like, hey, if I'm gone for more than 4 days, I'll either charge you board rates, or we'll figure. I try to work with them so that they don't look at my social media and say, wait a minute, you've been in Tennessee for 4 days, and who's riding my horse? Mm-hmm. Things like that. So
how many horses do you try to keep in training now?
Right now, I'm only about 4 outside horses.
Yes. Then some of your own?
Yes.
Okay. What does your current husband, what does he do for a living?
He's the editor-in-chief of 5 big firearms magazines.
Okay. That's awesome.
We have the gun thing in common, but and he's been a badass his whole life, so he understands my badassery. Yeah, and he leaves me alone, and I leave him alone, and we just
that's awesome.
Have a good gig going.
How long you guys been married?
It'll be a year in August.
That's awesome. Good for you.
We've been together about 13 years.
That's awesome.
But I was, we were both so independent.
Can I ask? I'm going to ask this question.
Okay.
You don't have to answer this question, but you said you were together 13 years.
Yes.
Okay. And you don't have to answer this question.
Go ahead.
You can cut this out if you want.
Okay.
Why bother getting married?
I know, that's a good question, right?
What's the answer then?
Well, he asked. I don't know.
What benefit did marriage bring that you didn't have before?
Well, I guess part of it does feel good. I always say, like, I'm somebody's dog now. You remember?
You're not homeless.
There's a cartoon a long time ago, and I was like Lady and the Tramp or something. Like, I'm somebody's dog.
I love that.
No, that's a really honest question, and I didn't ever need it. I didn't ask for it. I was happy with whatever we had going. We've been together so long.
It's the partnership that you're happy.
Yeah, it does feel different now at this age, getting married, versus in the past where it was all about hearts in the eyes and everything, where now it's like we've gone through all the hard stuff.
Yeah.
We've battled it out. We've butted heads. We've come back from it. And, now it's like, okay, we did all the hard stuff. There's no surprises. Mm-hmm. And what does it mean? Okay, well, yay, we've got life insurance now.
Okay, now we're getting to some benefits. That's what I'm getting at. I'm saying, what are the fucking benefits? I've been married twice. I'll never get married ever again. You can only split a fortune so many times, and I ain't a fucking fortune anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, and And I always get a lot of shit for it. And married people always say, well, if you're not married, it doesn't show commitment. I say the complete fucking opposite. When you're not married to somebody, you're there because you want to be there.
Want to be, yes.
I'll say this on camera. 9 of my buddies, if they could divorce their wives and without being financially cut in half and without it hurting their kids, they'd divorce their wives in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Does that sound like fucking love?
No.
Seriously, all jokes aside.
No, it doesn't.
So to me, if you're not married and you choose to stay with somebody, that's because you want to fucking be there. I always say, if you think your horse likes to live in the stall, just open the door.
Right.
Open the barn door and see if that motherfucker stays there. If he does, he likes living in a stall. If he doesn't, he doesn't. So I make the complete counter argument. I get a lot of shit for that comment, but I don't give a shit.
I agree with you.
But like my girlfriend that I have now, this will freak people out, but fuck it. She lives in the house beside me. I said to her when, we've been together about a little over a year now, and I said, and she wanted to move down from Michigan, and I said, you can't live with me. And she said, what do you mean? I said, I'll never live with anybody ever again. I never want to live with another woman. I like my privacy. I like my time alone. I said, I've got a house, I own a bunch of rental homes in my subdivision. And I said, I've got a house beside me, but I'll put you in that house. We put a gate in the backyard so the dogs can come back and forth and footsteps so she can come back. I'll spend Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday alone. We'll hang out Friday, Saturday, Sunday. At first, she was against it. And she didn't like it. And I just fucking said, this is the way it's going to be. If you're going to be in my life, there's a house. I'll pay for everything, utilities, everything costs you nothing, but that's where you live. And I said, you know what you can do in that house? Whatever you want. Decorate it the way you want, furniture the way you want. It's your house. Even though I own it, it's your house. And now, if you asked Amanda now, says, how do you feel about living separate from Clinton? She'll like, fuck yes, I love it. It's the most healthiest adult relationship I've ever been in, where you can't miss something that's never gone.
That's right.
So I'm not saying we don't see each other Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We might run into each other at the barn, but we're not around each other all day. So you can't miss what's never gone. The fucking dogs come back and forth. It's like custody of the dogs. They'll spend a night at my place, a night at her place, They love it. But when I tell people that we're together, but we don't live in the same house and we're actually neighbors, it's funny, half the audience get really almost offended by it. Like it's something's wrong here. And the other half go, huh. And then after about 5 minutes, especially the women walk up to me and say, that's the fucking greatest idea I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. Like the other day, it's silly, but this is where, this is how kind of it's important to me. We'll make coffee in the morning, okay? And I've got there's electronic frother things where you buzz it, where you put in the coffee and it stirs it up or whatever, frothers it, okay? Well, I like this one particular fucking attachment that goes on the thing and stirs the coffee, and she likes a different one, okay? Well, a couple of times she's fussed at me about why don't I use the attachment that she likes, okay? And I've let it go a couple of times, and the third time she brought it up, I just real calmly, and I said, hey, baby, I said, you see that house over there? I pointed to her house. And she said, yeah. I said, that's your fucking house. And I said, do you know what you can do in that house? And she said, what? And I said, whatever the fuck you want.
Froth your milk how you want.
And she laughed. And I said, hey, baby, see this house? And I pointed to the ground. She said, yeah, this is my house. And I said, do you know what I can do here? And she laughed. And she said, whatever the fuck you want. We both laughed. We gave each other a hug. I told her to get her coffee and fuck off. And we had a greatest day. But something as simple as that, I didn't have to bend. She didn't have to bend. We both got what we wanted. But if we would have been under the same house, shit like that adds up.
Yeah.
It annoys people. I don't think human beings are meant to be the fucking together 24/7. You think caveman hung out with cave woman all fucking day? No, he left for 3 or 4 days. He went and hunted something. He dragged the dinosaur back to the cave. He fucked the wife. He played with the kids. 2 days later, he fucking left again. Seriously.
I get it.
Now culture's got us living together 24/7, stuck to each other's hips. No wonder we fucking want to pull a gun out and hate each other.
Yeah.
All jokes aside. Now, if you said to Amanda now, you said, hey, would you ever live with Clinton? She'd say, fuck no. I love my house. Mm-hmm. I love because her rules, when I go over there, she's got certain rules. I've got to take my shoes off when I walk into the house. I obey those rules because it's her fucking house. And I told her, I said, whatever happens in this house is your business.
Right.
Your furniture, your design. She picks shit that she loves secondhand furniture and all this fucking used shit. She's kind of half liberal, artsy-fartsy, crazy bitch, okay? She loves all this used antique type shit that I wouldn't even put in my house in a million years. But it's her house. She loves it. It makes her happy. I don't care. I like new shit. You know what I mean? Right. I like stuff, modern shit. But I get to decorate the house the way I want to fucking do it.
Sure.
But I always get a kick out of how many people, half the audience when I say that, lose their shit over it and say, "Hi, I can't believe that you do this," and the other half say, "Fuck a duck, I would do this in a heartbeat if I could afford it."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I just wanted to ask that question after 13 years, why you would get married.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Do you think he was pushing it more than you?
No.
No?
I know, because we're both so independent. We both travel so much. We've met for lunch in airports before.
Yeah.
So we spend a lot of time alone anyway. And I love that part because I have my house to myself.
Yes.
It's gone.
You can do what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
On the 3 days I'm by myself, I read different books, I watch different YouTube videos and learn about whatever the fuck I want to learn. And she asked me, she said one day, "What do you like about being by yourself where I'm not around?" And I said, "I don't have to worry about you."
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "What do you mean worry?" And I said, as a man, when you provide and protect for a woman, they're always on your mind. Are they safe? Are they happy? What do I need to fix? Is there a problem? You know, is everything, when you're not in my vicinity, you're out of my mind.
Right.
And that helps me do what I want to do. And she looked at me and she said, "That's the exact same way I feel. When I'm in my house, I don't worry about you. I don't worry, do you need something?"
Right.
I don't know if it'll catch on, but I like the shit out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I do too.
Works for us.
That's right.
Valley Equine Reproduction is a premier equine breeding facility located in Stephenville, Texas. I've worked with the team there multiple times and had nothing but great experiences. Formerly known as the Brazos Valley Stallion Station, they offer everything. They manage over 45 stallions, including some of the most renowned in the industry. They offer mare care and breeding services, foaling out services, a recent mare program, sales fitting, and rehabilitation services. Plus, their Super Stallion Incentive Program has awarded substantial payouts. In 2024, the program paid out $1.4 million across the NCHA and NRCHA. If you're in the breeding business, you have to check out Valley Equine Reproduction. Visit them online at valleyequinerepro.com or give them a call at 254-485-8280.
Nothing would please them more than to see this old piece of shit in a coffin. Oh, they want to drive a steel knife down a stupid fucking throat, and they talk about it quite often.
Okay, guys, we got hate mail today. This comes from Gene Betson. This guy is a total jerk, and I no longer like him. Oh my God, all his method. Please, Gene, could you like me? My whole self-esteem is wrapped up in whether you like me or you follow me. Seriously, you're breaking my heart. Come back. What have I got to say or do to make you forgive me? You dumb fucking bitch. Breaking Bad is by the hottest stallion in the industry out of a great mare, Sweet Abra. He is athletic, extremely cowy, and was easy to train. He's a 3-time major events open champion with lifetime earnings of $230,000 and counting. He is subscribed to all the major NCHA and NRCHA programs and is in the Legacy Bonus Program with an estimated payout of $1 million at this year's NCHA Futurity. His 2026 breeding fee is $4,500 plus shoot fee. Breaking Bad is owned by Fultz Ranch, the previous owners of Metallic Cat and Stevie Ray Vaughan, the same people that made those two stallions household legendary names in the cutting and cow horse industries. Mention the Uncut and Real Raw podcast for free apparel with a paid contract. This episode is brought to you in part by Icon Global, the premier real estate agency specializing in marketing and selling ranches. How many days a year are you on the road now? Like how many clinics, 10 clinics a year, 20 clinics a year?
Yeah, probably 20. I teach locally 2 days a week as well. So they fill up. I mean, the winter I had to open up another day because we have all the snowbirds that come in from all the north country. And so those are exhausting, but good.
So where do you see, is your sport or industry big enough now that there's a lot of people like you that can make a living training mounted shooting horses?
It's getting there. Like I said earlier, my income stream is multifaceted. Okay. I have product development, like I've done.
Like what do you sell product-wise?
So I created a line of saddles with Circle Y for the first and only mounted shooting line of saddles back in 2009, which was really cool. They called me and said, we want to do this. The sport's growing. Would you help us? And it's like, of course, absolutely. So with them, and then different things, like I have a line of bits and reins and a gear bag for professional's choice, and a couple other. I went to Italy and designed a new hammer for the single action revolver.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Like an 1800s gun. How could you possibly modify it to make it better?
Yeah.
But it was cool. We got to change the hammer and the action on it so it shoots faster.
That's awesome.
And so little things like that. So we have royalties and.
So it's not widespread that people can make a living just from training mounted shooting horses?
No. You will not retire on that.
No, right. Fair enough then. So most of the people in the sport have day jobs. This is their fun money. This is their going, can they go to what is a hotbed for that area of mounted shooting? Like, Weatherford's a hotbed for cutting and Whitesboro would be the hotbed for reining. Where's a hotbed for mounted shooting?
I think for trainers, there's quite a few of them in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area. And then as you get further east, Tennessee and up the eastern seaboard, there's quite a few. Even in the Northeast, which is surprising to me, that there's quite a few up there that are doing pretty well. And that's where the Futurity Committee started up there, or that's who's running it right now. So there's a lot of stallion owners up there that are starting to get more involved in the sport as well.
Yeah. And as you get more prize money, it'll get bigger, it'll grow, etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where do you see the sport going, or what direction? Is there a particular trend? Like a few weeks back, we had Bud Lyon sitting there, and we were talking about the ranch riding class has got hugely popular with AQHA, and it's now got its own association, and it's growing in leaps and bounds. Is there any particular trends or anything you see in the mounted shooting industry that are about to change or about to blow up? Or
I think it's been on a steady upswing for 10, 15 years, and it just keeps growing and growing. I just came back from a shoot in Las Vegas last week, and we had over 350 entries, which was big for us. So that shows growth, and I think what really shows growth is that of those 350 entries, a lot of them were brand new. So they were all level 1s and level 2 riders that are those are coming into the sport. So you can really see how that affects the growth of the sport. And whereas before you could see it was like a pyramid. You'd have a lot of riders coming in, but then it was such a small tier at the top because people, in my case, they would get bored with it and I'm not making money at this, I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
Or I'm not getting enough out of my entry fees or whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of where you'll see more upper level shooters out there putting their stake in the ground and saying, okay, I'm going to do this for a living.
Yeah. What about your husband? Does he shoot competitively? Not on horse, but does he shoot competitively? What is his hobbies? Is it anything to do with guns?
He used to. He's involved in some international stuff right now, which is not shooting competitively, but he's still, he's editor-in-chief, so he has to go shoot a couple days a week for product reviews and things like that. So he's still heavily involved in all of that, and he's...
What do you think, if you were to go back to an 18-year-old girl now, and leaving home was a great move for you. It taught you to grow up, taught you to get in the real world, etc. If you had to go back to an 18, 19-year-old yourself, I always ask the guests, what would you tell yourself now with your years of experience and a few bloody noses on the playground, you know what I mean, about life in the arena and life out of the arena? What would you tell yourself? I'm not saying we'd listen at that age, because usually we're kind of stupid, and we're young and stupid and maybe arrogant or naive, but what do you think you would tell yourself? What would be the greatest lesson you would like to coach yourself through?
I think I would probably tell the younger me to just enjoy the process, really, again, shut your mouth, do your job, but do more observation, ask more questions, and realize that the process is there, but you have to go through it. You can't just buy your way in.
Yeah. Everybody starts at the bottom, isn't it? It's funny, when you see some great riders that change industries, you go back to being a rookie. I've had to do that, being a competitor now. I was a clinician and I was very good at my job and my business, but when I had to step in against the trainers in different industries, I'm learning how to cut now. I'm a rookie. I'm in the 2,000 added class. I'm in the bottom $2,000 rider class. Fucking 2 o'clock in the morning showing with all the other assholes, and we're chasing cattle everywhere, and it looks like a complete clusterfuck. I'm in that class, but I'm learning.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you have to learn to go back and be a rookie.
Yeah, and be okay with being in last place for a while.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. You have to acknowledge that you can't step in the top of your game in one industry and think you're going to step in the top of the game in a completely different industry. It just doesn't work like that, does it?
It's humbling, but it's also a challenge in a good way. I've been burned out a few times in a big way over the last now 27 years in the sport, and
What do you think was the biggest cause of your burnout? If you could go back and coach yourself a little, because I got burnout too. I'm not scared to admit it. I got very burnout on clinics, people. I got burnout on humans. I used to have this fucking magnet on my fridge that used to say, I used to be a people person, but people fucked that up for me. Exactly. That used to be a magnet. So I got very burned. I'm much better now because I've been pretty much retired from down under horsemanship the last 5 years. In fact, this year, in about another month, it will be my last official tour. I've been touring for 24 years. So this will be my last tour coming up here in a couple of months. But what advice would you give to yourself? I know what I'd tell myself, but what would you tell, in the stages that you got burnt out, what would you like to go back and coach yourself to maybe avoid that?
I think you nailed it when you said it's a people issue. I think it was just that absorbing everybody else's anxieties, fears of competition. It's more about I feel like I'm a therapist most of the time.
Yes.
And especially because I have a lot of female clients and there's always something wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry, girls, but it's true.
Thank God. You hear this, ladies? I'm not the only fucking asshole that says there's a woman here saying exactly what I say, but when I say it, you bitches are all over me. Cleansing, misogynistic piece of shit. When a woman says it, she's fucking girl power.
No,
God.
I'm just a bitch, that's all.
Yeah, well, you're in the right club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I always joke, and I say this to people's faces too, but I always joke is when I'm in an autograph line, I'm like an emotional tampon, okay? People just emotionally throw their shit at me, okay? Well, I've got so good over the years that because what happens, somebody will walk up to me. The first 20 minutes of the conversation is not a question. It's them telling me their whole life story. Well, I've got so good now, I don't listen to a word of it. Like, I'll look at them and I nod. I've trained myself to nod, and I listen. You know what I'm thinking about? The horse I want to ride
What
at
you're going to
home,
have for dinner.
what I'm going to have for dinner, the truck and trailer, what I want to buy. And then I've noticed right at the end, right before the question, their voice will change. Like there'll be a change in the tone of their voice. And then my brain gets right back in and they'll say, so anyway, what do I do when that horse just won't back off the trailer? And I'm right back in there. But I've trained myself after 28 years to ignore the conversation. I'm friendly, I nod. But if I would actually listen to every fucking word, I'd hang myself.
Yeah, well, you'd be completely blood dry.
You know where I learned this lesson that you have to listen whether you like it or not? I remember early in my career, I'd do these expos, and after the demonstration, I'd run back to the booth and say, hey, if you got more questions, I'll be at the booth, because I wanted people to come to the booth because that's where they'd buy the VHS tapes and all that kind of shit and buy my equipment. So I'd sit in a chair, I shit you not, and answer questions for 10 hours straight. Other than get up and take a piss or eat a sandwich in the chair, I'd sit there for 10 hours straight. Well, in the beginning years, I wanted to help people get as many questions answered as I could. So when you'd walk up to me and you'd start giving me this life story, I'd somewhat cut you off and say, hey man, what's your question? I really want to help you. Tell me what your question is. Because I'm thinking there's a massive line of people. It's 400 people deep. The more questions I can answer, the more people I can help.
Right.
And my manager came up to me after a while and she said, why are you pissing everybody off? And I said, what do you mean? She said, everybody's walking up complaining that you're rude and you're cutting them off. And I said, Gail, have you seen the fucking line? I said, if I let them talk, we'll never get through these people. And she said, I don't care. She said, let them talk. And I said, my exact words to her were, but everybody's going to be mad. And she said, yes, but they won't be mad at you.
You're right.
They're mad at the lady in front of you.
That's right.
So I learned that. So from that day on, when somebody walks up to me, I let them vomit all over me. Don't say a fucking word except nod, etc. Whether they spend 5 minutes doing it or 45. Now, there'll be people behind that are really pissed that this lady's taking all this time, but by the time they get to me, you know what they say? I must have heard this 5 billion times in my career. You have the patience of Job. I don't even know who the fuck Job is, but apparently this motherfucker was patient.
Yeah.
You have the patience of Job. I can't believe you're a saint. And I'm thinking, lady, I never heard a word she fucking said for the last 45 minutes. I'm thinking about my futurity horse at home. But I had to do that.
Yes.
Because if I didn't, I'd literally Well, fuck, I did have a drinking problem for many years, but that's what helped me. You know what I mean? Is you have to just tune that shit out. You are an emotional tampon. They just throw emotional shit at you, and you have to be able to block that out. And that's what I do now. I'm polite. I don't cut them off. I let them get completely done, and then I answer the question at the end. Can you relate to that?
I can. I feel like I'm just a captive audience because I've been cornered sometimes. And sometimes I just have to do the same thing. Because I can feel the question coming as well. But it's part of this job.
It is.
It's half horsemanship and half
people write checks.
people.
We're in the people business.
Yeah,
people
exactly.
write checks. Horses don't. So it's part of it. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And again, as long as I'm polite and friendly and I nod, they don't know. They might know now when they watch this, but they don't know I have not listened to a fucking word. Now, every once in a while, I'll fuck up where I don't quite get back in the question early enough, and I'll miss the question.
You get caught.
And then they'll look at me, and I'll say, and I know I don't know what the question was, and I'll look at them, and I'll say, I think I know the answer, but repeat that question one more time. I really want to make sure I got the details.
See?
And they have no idea I've missed it.
Nope.
And they'll give me the question, and then I answer it. I would have answered the question in the first 30 seconds, but they didn't want to ask it in 30 seconds. They wanted 20 minutes of verbal diarrhea, and then we get to the question. Yes. You know, you haven't lived until you sit in a fucking chair for 10 hours straight listening to, why does my horse bite me on the ass? Why does my horse not stand still at the mounting block? Why can't I fucking catch my horse? Like, it's the same standard 10 questions for my entire 28 years of career. It's the same standard 10 questions.
Well, you need my close students, they tell me I should have a button right here. Like, whenever that question is asked, I just push it and a speaker comes out and just answers it. Because it's the same questions over and over. Or like, hey, refer to my book.
Yeah.
Page 26.
Yeah, they do that. But anyway, it's just human nature, I suppose.
Yeah.
But now when I do the autograph line, I have to drink now. I'm not joking. I can't do it sober now. I have to have a couple of cocktails, and people ask me, what's in your cup? And I look at them and say, fucking patience.
Yeah.
That's what's in that cup.
Liquid
patience. And we laugh. We joke about it. I laugh with them. They laugh with me. You know what I mean? But I can't do it sober anymore. I can't handle after this many years.
That's fair.
I can't do it. But give me 2 or 3 cocktails, and I'm fucking good to go. You know what I mean? Well, listen, it's been a pleasure getting to know you, getting to meet you. I go out to Scottsdale several times a year and ride my cow horses out there. I love riding out in the desert out there, taking 2-year-olds out there. Next time I'm out there, I'd love to look you up and
Please
take
do.
you and your husband out to dinner and get to know why the fuck you get married after 13 years.
Well, that's a question for him, really.
That'll be my first question. I'm just fucking with you.
And he put me on the spot. He asked me at the middle of a rodeo in France. I go to France every year to do the shooting, and he stopped the whole show and came out and...
Oh, truly.
And he said it in French, and he's not French, and the whole place is erupting, and I'm like, I go, what?
See, he backed you and you couldn't say no now,
couldn't say no.
whether you wanted to. Well, good for you. I'd like to take you out for a steak dinner, you and your husband, and get to know you guys. I love talking to people from different industries. Horsemanship's horsemanship. We all got our struggles. We all got our problems. But ultimately, we don't want to be in an office job, do we?
No.
You know what I mean? We don't want to be working in a factory. So there are some sacrifices we all have to make for that, which is usually we don't get paid for half the hours we actually do. You know what I mean? I think the horse industry is getting a lot better, and I'm kind of proud of it. Is through this podcast, I'm telling trainers and giving them confidence, start charging more money. Charge what you're worth. Stop second guessing yourself. I can't tell you how many trainers have walked up to me that watch the podcast and say, Clinton, you're the one that gave me the nudge I needed to start charging more money. And I always say, when you charge more money, how many customers did you lose? They laugh and say, not one.
Nope.
I knew they wouldn't.
You gain the right ones.
Yes, you lose the wrong ones, but most of them even say, I don't even lose anybody. But if you do, you lose the wrong ones and you gain the right ones. Because typically, the cheaper you are, the more bitching people give you. I've noticed that the cheaper you are, the customers bitch and complain more, the less you charge. I remember when I went from charging $400 for a 3-day clinic to when I started charging $1,000, got better horses showing up at the clinics, got people that were more serious about learning, got people less bitching. There was a big jump in customers and my stress level when I went from $400 for a 3-day clinic to $1,000.
That's right.
And then another big jump when I went to $1,500.
And you get better quality animals.
Yes.
And that's been my thing too. The higher, or more I charge, the better quality horses that come into my barn.
Yes. I always tell trainers, take less horses, charge more money.
That's right.
Take less horses, do a better job, and charge more money. Well, cheers to you, hon.
Cheers.
Great to have you here. It's been a pleasure. Love learning about you. And I don't even remember who, somebody sent me in a comment, said you need to look this lady up and have her on your podcast. So I didn't know who you are. I apologize about that, but I don't follow the mounted shooting world. And I looked you up and I'm like, this fucking lady's cool as shit. She's done a lot of cool shit. I'd love to have her on as a guest. So guys, if you got any recommendations, put them in the comments and I read them. And that's how I got you here.
Great. Well, thank you for having me.
I hope a lot of people, young people especially, hear your story, are inspired that, you know, you came from nothing and you've been number one and how you did it.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
good
been
to have you here, beautiful.
Good to be here.
Thank you. Today's episode was filmed and produced by Uncut Productions, marketing by Stewart & Associates, and organised and administrated by Down Under Horsemanship. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit the subscribe button and leave a rating. Follow us and stay up to date on social media, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. See you next time, mate. Cheers.